Hello, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. It's Jackie Malpath, aka the Word Alchemist, and I'm joined today by my lovely friend Marilyn, who you can't see, but she's going to come on live with me later on the Word Alchemist page, and she's going to talk about her new book. And we're going to talk a little bit about holding ourselves accountable, which is what I've been doing with this book that I'm writing called Writing for the Soul. And what I want to do is bring you up to date with where I am and what I'm going to do next. So if you haven't caught up with what I'm doing, I decided, or rather a book decided I was going to write it. And I got out my plan. So, you know, as I do this for a living, one would expect me to have a plan. So I got out my plan. And then what I decided to do was go with my intuition. So here's the plan, I know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to bring some other bits and pieces in and follow my creative path. So the first thing I did, which you probably can't see because it's hidden behind here, is I did a thing that's called Wordplay. And I went and sat... Oh no, can you turn my phone off, please? Do not do a live broadcast when your phone rings. Anyway, what I did, and talking about phones, is I went upstairs and sat on my terrace and got some a sheet of brown paper and lots of coloured pens, and I just sat and I just allowed whatever was in my head to come out onto that piece of paper. The other thing I did was a thing called a values exercise, and what I did with the values exercise is wrote loads and loads and loads, well, 30 odd words on little pieces of post-it notes, and then came back with the five values which were my key values, but I've kept the values list for when I come to do the outline. So the first thing I did was Wordplay, I did a values exercise, and then I did this thing over here which was a mind map. And talking about mobile phones, what I did was I did the mind map, and then I got my mobile phone out and I recorded myself talking about the book. So they were the couple of things I did from there. Then the next thing I did was got a sheet of brown paper, stuck it up on the wall, and I've put together, obviously you can't see that, there's a list over there that says, in fact I have that written on here, a chapter framework. So I've written down over there the title, the what, the why, the how, and questions for exploration. So I'll come back to chapter frameworks on another day, but I have that written up there. And then what I did the other day was I started to write up what each of the chapter titles are, which are the little green stickies at the top. And I've done my what, my why, my how. And then what I started to do is I went back to the original Wordplay that I had done and started to read some of those words and write them on some other post-it notes to stick them up. And I tell you what was absolutely amazing. So when I did the Wordplay, what happened was I just had an unconscious stream of whatever wanted to come out. And I put it to one side and said, I'm not going to look at it until I come to do that. Wow, when I started to read it, the words that were on there were just incredible. So I know that when I come to do the proper outlining bit where I start to write, that those words are going to weave their way into the chapters. So what am I going to do next? So my next job is to take what I've written here and to create what I call a chapter synopsis. But going with my intuitive flow, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to look at what are the stories that each of the chapters want to tell. Now, I don't currently know, and what I'm going to do is this is what I think I'm going to do, and it might come out completely differently, but what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to write down all the chapter titles that I've got and I'm going to do a little meditation, and I'm going to sit with some crystals. Anyone who knows me knows that I've always got crystals everywhere. I'm going to sit with some crystals. I'm going to choose some crystals. I'm going to do a meditation, and I'm going to see which of my personal stories come up with each of those chapter titles. Now, it's really, really important. Anybody who's thinking of writing a book is think about what's your story, why do you want to tell it, and think about the person that you would like to pick your book up and read it, because that person, you're going to change their life. And then hopefully what they're going to do is they're going to do something to change someone else's life. And that's the whole purpose of sharing our story, is because it's about helping us to change. Words are incredibly powerful, so it's helping us to get clarity of purpose. That's what a story does, is although we have lived it, it gives us clarity of purpose, so that when we come to tell it, we know the reason why we're telling it and why we're putting it in a book, and the kind of people whose lives that we would like to change outside of our own. So I would invite you to think about what those stories might be and how you would like to change the world. And I don't mean the world like you're going to touch every single person, but even if you just touch one person and you're going to make change and a difference to one person's life, then I think we've achieved something pretty amazing. So this is my story so far in terms of writing this book, Writing for the Soul. So it was wordplay, values, mind map, used my mobile phone that accidentally rang in the middle of this to talk it out, and then I came and did some outlining, and then I've used some of the words that came up from my values exercise and my wordplay exercise. And I think that what I'm going to do next, what is speaking to me, is story. So if you're interested in writing a non-fiction book, if you go to the sign up box, don't know which way it is, it's one of those ways, if you go to the sign up box and hit the sign up, you can get a little ebook that's called How to Write a Non-Fiction Book, that's got masses and masses of resources in, and you will also get a copy of this. So, hasta mañana, I will see you soon. Happy writing. Any questions, please do post them down below, and I will see you soon.